Welcome everyone to Talented Universe for this 5th day of November in 2025. We have a special guest today and we will introduce him in a few minutes. But first, I just want to say hi to my co-host today. Liz, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. It's super windy and super rainy today. Instead of it being like 90 plus degrees, we got a huge shift. So hopefully it'll stay that way.
And you want the shift or you're looking for another
No,
shift?
I want the rain and the fog and the cold. Thank you. I am not a summer person.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing, I guess. Marcia, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. We're really cool here in Northeast Florida, which is really funny, kind of strange. But, when you say it's 2025, I'm old enough to think, like, where's my flying car? It's 2025, okay?
Oh, we should have had that for several years.
Yeah, right.
But that's a whole other thing to talk about.
But I'm ready to chat.
I am too, but now I just got flustered because I'm thinking, where is my flying car?
It flew to my house, thank you.
Well, maybe it did. That's why I don't have it with me right now. But I just want to welcome our guest, Grant Garcia. Grant, we are so excited that you are here. Before I've got one statement in the chat room. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I'm going to ask my question I usually ask our guests because they give us all different answers every single time. Same question, different answer every single time. So when you did your first vertical and you came home or saw your friends or your family and they asked you what you did and you told them and their faces went blank, how did you explain to them what a vertical drama or a micro drama, which they're calling them now?
Yeah, so the first vertical I ever did was the Don't Miss Me When I'm Gone, which actually, for vertical titles, it's a pretty, I would say, wouldn't jump out at you title.
It's a tame title.
It is a very tame title. So there wasn't a lot of a lot of that, but a lot of my family is still back home in Texas. So it was a lot of my friends out here, and I actually have a lot of my friends are from college. So actually most of them knew already what vertical dramas were and what the scene was, because I had a lot of friends that are even actually already in the scene. But definitely explaining it to some coworkers I have, and they were like, what do you what are you gonna go do? What's the project? And I was like, oh, it's for a vertical drama. And they're like, I don't really understand what that is. And I was like, well, it's trying to explain how it's gonna be like a show, but you're gonna watch it on your phone. It was really funny, trying to explain to people that they're like, oh, is it on a streaming service? I'm like, yes, but on your phone. Yeah. So yeah, it was always funny having to explain to people who have no idea what they are, introducing the world to them.
Yeah. And then some of the people that I came across, some of them said, oh, I've seen those on TikTok. And I said, yes, sometimes they're on TikTok. So
yeah, that's been a lot. I've got a lot of messages from friends from high school that are like, I saw you on my TikTok today. Yeah. A lot of people see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. But we have someone in the chat room. Christy Smallwood says, hi, Grant. How are you? I love your verticals. So I think there is a fan there for you.
Yeah, it's doing good. Excited. I love the month of November, so I'm happy that it's November and getting towards the winter season.
Is it because winter? Why is November one of your favorites?
I love Thanksgiving. I just love being able to I love the food. I like getting close to the Christmas season. I also like Halloween, and that's right on the border of Christmas. So I just kind of the vibes throughout November.
Well, that makes sense. So how many verticals have you done that are released so far? And then how many have you done that aren't released yet?
So actually the answer to both is 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So this and Taming My Bullies that just came out are my 2 ventures into the world of verticals and micro dramas. And yeah.
Well, that's good. So we will see what goes on. Now, our special co-host has just gotten here, and I am going to let them on in a few minutes if they're ready. Do a thumbs up if our new co-host is ready. Okay. So I'm just going to let her come. It's a her. I'm going to let her come on and just she has a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll be able to answer them.
Okay. Hey, April, how's it going?
I actually just wanted to come on and say again, I'm really sorry.
No, oh my gosh, I feel like I should have.
I felt so awful. I'm sorry, I talked over you.
Grant, your microphone was fading out.
Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me now?
Now I can now, but it's a little lower than it was. Okay.
No, I was laughing that I was with what my character would do on set for Don't Miss Me When I'm Gone. Felt like I was trying to apologize throughout every scene.
Oh no, I was talking about when I threw the book at you, and
oh yes.
it was a little
aimed a little low. Yeah.
I felt terrible.
It was a funny moment on set.
It was. I forgot. So I just want to come out and say hi and say I keep up. I've been watching you and you've been doing great and it's awesome. And I forgot to tell you all a story yesterday. So I remember being on set that day because I don't know if you remember this, Grant. It was the day that we were in the living room, of course, and we had that just chunks of dialogue.
Yeah, it was I think it was at one point you had 4 pages and I had maybe 5 lines throughout these 4 pages. April just had monologues and monologues and monologues, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was incredibly impressive watching April get through that.
No, I'm full confession right now. I was sweating bullets because I know this is going to be so bad. This is such a bad actor thing. If any actors who are listening, don't do this. I am notorious for sometimes learning lines in the makeup chair.
Yeah.
Now I know the material. I've done the work on the character. I know the material, but the lines. And so when he looked at me and said, "We're just going to run all the way through this," I was like, okay. And inside I'm going, I was like, there's no way. And then I got very, very lucky with the setup, trying to figure that out. And I got very, very lucky. And he said, well, we're going to break for lunch first and we'll come back and do it. So guess who was cramming the entire lunch?
I think it was funny. I think I actually went up and asked if you wanted to come eat with us. And you were so locked in your zone and memorizing those lines.
Because I was sweating. I was like, I can't come back and screw everybody on this. I've got to learn this. And so I felt bad because I did want to be social and but I was like, if I don't learn this, they're going to hate me. I'm just going to keep it.
What was really funny was so that day too, there was it was a huge heat wave that was going through Los Angeles. So, and in the house, we couldn't have the AC on. So add on to the fact that it's almost probably 89, almost 90 degrees in the house. Yeah. And of course we're all in all of these layers because it's set in New York. Mm-hmm. So I remember even Luke was in this long sleeve too. And I remember there was the moment before we broke for lunch where it was we're trying to get through these chunks of dialogue. Luke is he's hungry, hot, and fading. And it was just it was a long day that day.
Yeah, it was intense. And I forgot to tell you guys this the other day. So that 2 days before that shoot, I was doing 3 at a time. So 2 days before that shoot, I had face planted onto the concrete.
Oh my God.
Freak accident. Just freak accident. I had black eye.
Oh my gosh.
Did makeup. I was like, you gotta cover this. You gotta cover this. So I don't want to get fired. Oh my God. I was stressing out. I couldn't talk right because my teeth got, which I now have 2 root canals on my front teeth, got pushed back. Like it was a nightmare. So that compounded with, we're gonna go run all the way through this. I left that day and I've never been so exhausted. I just want to go. I just want to go home and go to bed. I'm just gonna go home and go
And
to
you
bed.
know what? Even after all that, the people, they loved you. You killed it. I mean, you did such a great job.
Well, you guys made it easy. You guys made it really easy. And it was so awesome. It was really awesome to work with you guys. And I am overwhelmed and shocked at the response for that one. The 100 million. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. But because of y'all are the lead. So I'm just there to support you guys. So, but I just wanted to stop in and say hi. Hope you're doing well. And I hope you have all kinds of success with it because it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much, April. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Like, it's just such a surprise.
Didn't expect it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, they told me you were coming on. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's so sweet. Oh my gosh, yeah. It was so good to see you. Like, I'm so excited to see you flourish and all the things that come out.
Well, been at it 20 years. No, I mean, like,
Name of the game.
too young to be at it that long. It's not a thing.
Yeah. Well,
But
April,
thank you.
I was gonna say thank you very much for stopping by.
Yes. Thank you, April.
You did surprise Grant, so that was
You did.
that was the goal. That was the goal. But April, we're looking forward to having you back on again soon too. So
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it so much, Grant. Have a lovely time, and I will hopefully see you in the future and
Yes.
see you guys.
Thank you. Much
Take
love,
it
April.
easy.
Thanks, April.
Bye, April.
So I'm going to go ahead and go, which I almost was until April came in. Marcia, let's go with you.
Well, thank you. I was going to ask April or Grant now. Did she know that this was your first vertical?
I think she did. That's a very it's like when you get on set for these verticals, that's always like the first question anybody asks you is like, how many verticals have you done? It's just like, it's always like the icebreaker question. So I think I did tell her. I don't know if it was like immediately when she got on set, but at some point I think she did realize this was my first vertical. It was actually funny enough, it was my first because it was about a year after I graduated school, so it was like my first real professional acting gig, which was really neat. Yeah.
Wow. And you graduated from, you went to California Institute of the Arts?
Yes, I graduated from CalArts.
Yeah. And earlier you mentioned that Halloween was one of your favorite times of year. I can understand that from watching some of your early pieces, probably that you did in school. One in
Yes.
yeah, one in particular was Henry.
Yes.
You got me with that one.
Yeah, that was a cinematography. That was like my final cinematography projects. I've always been a filmmaker. I've been a filmmaker since I was in high school. Still a writer and working on a couple feature scripts.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was one. Yeah, I made that. It was my final for my cinematography project, and it's actually funny for that project. I was in the class. And I'd always grown up just like making short films, doing like 48-hour film festival. I've always just been like, I just want to make the film. And I remember when I presented what I wanted to do for my cinematography project, because for that project, I wrote, shot, edited it all in a week and a half.
Wow.
So it was in a very short timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave it to my professor. They're like, oh, you don't need to make like a whole short film for your final. You just need to kind of compile different images to kind of show the different styles that we've made, and then kind of combine it into a film. I was like, I really want to make a short film, and yeah, that's what came out of that.
Big and for those of you who haven't seen it, please go watch it. I won't spoil anything, but it is um, an kind of viewpoint and atmospheric and um, very well done because I always kind of wanted to know about that kind of character, what
Mhm.
motivation it comes from. Was that something that the line that you created, that you had that in the back of your mind for a while?
So it actually, what it did was it stemmed from a short story that I had wrote for like a lot of like college applications. And it came from me just like talking to friends and just the horrifying thought of just like, if you're on a first date with somebody, like, and it's just like trying to be vulnerable with somebody where you have no idea who they are and why they're here. Like you just have no idea. And that was like really where it came through. It's like what is in the mind of the other person, and like how could we, because I feel like it's so easy to be like, oh my gosh, if I was in this situation, I'd like run away. I would do anything. But then it's like, how do we sympathize with somebody? It's like, yeah, I understand. Like I would have probably been in that situation too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well done. Horror is not my genre to look at, but I will look at that again. And the other short that I had in my mind was everything. No, that's actually a line from it, but it's silence,
Mm,
and which is actually from a poem that you wrote. I
correct. Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Yes.
And was the poem done for this piece again, or was this something you had done before?
So the poem I had written, it was actually a much shorter poem. It was only 2 stanzas. The
Mm.
original poem. I had wrote a little while ago, and then this was actually the second project in this class. Basically, I made a lot of films in this class because I had access to a lot of equipment that I really wanted to use. So that's why a lot of films came out of this. But this one is probably actually really near and dear to my heart because I do think that there was just something within this one where I think I just had such a great idea of exactly what I wanted it to look like. I think it's probably, if I were to say, my best cinematography so far that I've released, because I really, really loved the cinematography on this one.
Mm.
And so that was the one that it was the full freedom of being like, I gotta, like, it was the first time, because I always write and direct all my movies, and it was the first time that I had a script, but I didn't really have to worry about the thematic beats of the script because it was a poem, and so I could really focus in on just like what are the visuals of this story completely and holistically, and it was really refreshing to be able to do that. And yeah, I'm really proud of that one. I really like that one a lot.
I like that one a lot, and as I said, there was that one line where everything is the same, just alone, and then
Mm-hmm.
at the end, though, I think the last word is good,
Yeah.
and that it was very touching. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go to Liz.
Oh, cool. Actually, I wanted to touch on a couple of things. You said you were only in 2 verticals, which I have watched both verticals multiple times. But did you know prior to Taming My Bullies that you were going to be starring with Luke again? It being the only 2 verticals you've been in, you're both in the same ones.
Yeah. So actually, me and Luke on Don't Miss Me Gone became actually very, very close friends. We're still incredibly close friends. And it was actually really funny. E, who was reaching out to us about the project, in part of the pitch for both of us, which is funny because I mean, we both would have like joined onto the project even without this, but in their opening pitch to us was part of being like, hey, they like reached out to me and they're like, we're going to get Luke on this project. We really want you to be on it. And then they texted Luke and they were like, hey, we're going to get Grant on this project. We really want you to be on it. And so it definitely added to like, all right, like we were really excited to work together. We love working together. We're hoping to work together again here in the near future. Yeah.
It was kind of a nice, refreshing change to see you being a little bit different than the Miller boys. You know, not quite as antagonistic, shall we say? So,
definitely.
But going back to all of this with acting and stuff, you originally kind of started out doing a lot of theater and stuff when you were in high school. And like, Marcia had kind of touched, you went on, and graduated with a BFA at the California Institute of Arts. But you have gone on since and done so much theater work throughout the Los Angeles area. Have you ever thought about Los Angeles? Don't get me wrong, it's great for a lot of things, but theater is not one of them. Have you thought about moving to New York where it's a much bigger stage, shall we say?
Yeah, I have thought about moving to New York. I think everybody always thinks about, like bouncing between New York, LA, Chicago, all those areas. I really just enjoy living in LA. I think like the theater work that I'm doing, I think a lot of the opportunities in the scenes that I'm still exploring, they're kind of like still range. Like I still do an audition for a lot of work in New York. But I think I've been able to still find like a great niche because like going to CalArts, a lot of the roots are still here in CalArts. So it's a really unique theater scene. There's a lot of like private art houses, private theaters, where there's a lot of that scene. But I think it's actually been a little bit easier than if I like packed up and went to New York, because then I'd be going and I would have to like start anew and trying to make some connections. I have like some people I could reach out to start building those, but it's nice to have like roots here. I have like really feel like I have a grasp on like how I'm progressing throughout my career and hope to get to New York at some point, but I don't think it's in the cards for me just yet.
Well, I know if it ever does. There is one particular play that I'm kind of trying to do something mildly a no-no. You did Sunken, and this June, and it literally, the reviews were like off the charts, literally. And I know a lot of friends that are, within the theater scene, and they go to a lot of stuff in LA. And I'm trying to figure out if one of them maybe got a snuck copy of it, the filming. So I did the whole thing.
Yeah, I could ask. I mean, I'm very good friends with the writer and director. She's one of my really, really close friends. So I'll see if there's a copy just of the film.
Oh, I would absolutely love you for that. In just that whole thing. But you yourself have been, like you said, a writer, producer. You've done camera work. You've done just about everything behind the cameras, including co-founding, your own production company. Do you want to stay more behind the camera, or do you just want to come out completely behind the camera?
So that has been something that like has been such a big proponent in like people asking like in trying to guide me in what I want to do in my career. But I think it's just been so hard. It's been so hard for me to always just stay doing to one thing, because like even within all of this, like I originally started, I was a basketball player. I played nationally. That was like my thing for a while. But my first introduction into even the arts was music. And so just like it's always been like I like dip into each field, because like I've always found that like all of the arts kind of, especially because I was so into filmmaking. And in filmmaking, you have to learn how to make music and edit a film and, direct it, do the cinematography. I always just wanted to learn all of it, and eventually drove me to acting. And so it's something that I view it as like, it's not like I'm going to choose one. I always try to find out how each is going to kind of serve different aspects of my career. And, I really want to be able to, have my features and write and direct my features and score them. And then also be able to like kind of stay in the camera and just kind of more so figure out how to balance it all instead of choosing one. Because actually, I can say this, it's exciting. Next spring, I'll be like having my debut EP coming out for.
Was my next question is when we were going to get it, because you have a phenomenal voice, and you keep hinting, there's something coming, And I was telling Michael about this earlier. I was like, I know full well he's got an EP coming at some point soon. I just don't know when.
3 a.m. She told me.
Yeah, so it's a project I am super excited about. We're getting close to being done with production on it, and yeah, it's something that like music out of all of like acting and everything has always been the thing that like I've always been the most nervous about like releasing to the world. But I'm very, very excited for this project.
Well, I'm very excited to hear the full thing, because just what I've heard, the little clips and stuff that you put out, cannot wait. You definitely have that certain richness and tone to your voice, and the words that you put in writing for it are perfect. So it will definitely be something to look forward to. Marcia, no problem. Marcia, I'm going to throw it back to you real quick.
Well, I'm glad you started talking about music, because I also wanted to bring up a project you did, an opera, Here Be Sirens. And I bring that up because I have an affinity for mermaids. I know these were not necessarily the goody mermaids, but a production like that, tell me about that production. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was that was probably one of the most unique productions I was able to be a part at CalArts. Especially because the three Elliot and the other two sirens,
mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just some of the most excellent singers you're ever gonna hear, and it was such a cool piece because the music is written it's written to where it's a lot of like so it uses a piano, and instead of like playing a lot of the keys of the piano, they play the actual strings of the piano because they have more vocal tones when you pluck them. And so it was just like, it's a cool place because when you're in that show, their voices like truly become like the myth of sirens. Like you're just so mesmerized by it. So it's like, it's this cool like thing of bringing myth to reality. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how many performances was it? Was it one or?
It was, I believe it was 4 or 5. And then I'm not sure right now the future of the production, but I think it's still being brought in from that phase to a new phase.
I've seen hints of it happening in other places, and hopefully I'll get a chance to see it. It sounds really intriguing. The little parts that I've seen has been incredible. Yeah. And are there other musicals that you've thought of being a part of that are maybe established or?
Yes, I did musicals in high school, and I haven't actually had the chance to do one since then. But I've definitely thought about being in musicals. I've auditioned for a couple, and that's been a ton of fun, being able to kind of like step back into the musical theater scene. Because I love musicals. I love being in musicals. I love everything about them. And so hopefully I'll be in one here in the near future.
Yeah. And as we talk about going from, theater to verticals, which when I first thought about it, when Michael first introduced me to verticals, how do you bring yourself in to that vertical space after learning to project out?
Yeah, I think it's I think a lot, because I approach actually a lot of my film acting a bit differently than I do like theater acting. And a lot of what I do to prepare for film acting is really just like looking and like reading and memorizing the script and saying it so much to where, because some of the lines in verticals, they can be quite various from what somebody would naturally say probably in that moment. But it's just trying to say it so many times to where I could just feel like I could fit it into my natural vocabulary, and I could just like fit that line into any conversation I'm doing. And so it's really trying to like just like that repetition of making it just more comfortable, more comfortable, more comfortable, more comfortable, to where there's no part that looks like it's projecting out. It's just living in the space.
Mm-hmm. Because when I have talked to some actors about moving from theater to even to movies, the slightest movement can change a lot, or the slightest, an eyebrow raise, or whereas in the theater you're out. So was that fun for you? It sounds like that might have actually been a fun challenge for you.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun challenge, because I think they share so many similarities in like, because you're still storytelling, you're still approaching that embodiment of like a new character. But I do like love the challenge of, it's like, okay, now I don't have to like think about my whole body as a tool, and I can just like focus so minutely on different things that are happening. And it's like, I always like to say that like when I'm in the theater, I feel like the energy that I'm projecting out is like, I'm trying to do it with like my whole body, my whole being.
Yeah.
And then like when I move into the camera, it's like if all of that has to get like funneled almost into your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what are you watching now? I know movies. You go to the theater. What was perhaps the last movie?
Okay, so what was the last movie I saw? I do like to go to theater. I haven't been able to make it to the theater in a while. I think the last movie I saw was Eleanor the Great. Was the last movie I saw in theaters. But what I have been watching a lot of for the first time is I've been watching a lot of Sex and the City. Almost done with watching that show.
The original?
Yeah, so I just started watching that like a couple of months ago. I've been big into that show.
I love the original. I mean, my sister actually got me into watching that, and it was. See, now that's New York City again. See,
that is.
You're getting the call of the sirens to bring you.
I know.
But with the the fashion and it's kind of like a vertical in a way.
Hey, I would say that a storyline like that would work really well on a vertical.
Yeah.
It would work really well on a microdrama. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's like, because like I also love the show, like just like on staying on like sitcoms, because I also love New Girl. So I think it's like this like silly dichotomy of like, I love how like New York Sex and the City is, and I love how like LA New Girl is. But yeah, I'm deeply enjoying the show.
Good. What about reading?
Oh, so it's the most recent thing I read is Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good book. Was getting into like a little bit more fantasy, and one of my friends recommended it. Excellent book. I like could not put it down.
Mm-hmm. And with fantasy, we're talking about verticals. More fantasy verticals are coming out. More. Yes, I did see a mermaid one, and Liz told me about another mermaid one that I'm gonna watch. But have you've been in verticals for not a super long time?
Mm-hmm.
Even in this time, have you seen the development of verticals forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. This has been a fascinating industry to watch, of just like how it's changing, and from where it started to even like where it is now, and the people that they can get involved in these productions to be able to like, have a fantasy vertical, and then be like now starting to really, really execute on producing something like that, to where you're really justifying, being able to like film in that genre. So yeah, it's been fascinating to watch like how the growth of them has allowed them to like really expand into many different genres.
Mm-hmm. And in Taming My Bullies, there's a lot of physical, like pratfalls and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you do stunts? Is that something that you're interested in?
Yeah, so we do stage combat at CalArts, but then I actually ended up my previous year working for a martial arts company, and I was training in Muay Thai while I was there. So definitely got my fair share of learning martial arts and stunts because the head of the company and the teacher, he's a stunt artist, and so yeah, definitely I enjoy stunts. I like stunts a lot.
Sword play? Have you done that kind of swashbuckling type?
No, nothing like that yet. Nothing like that yet.
Well, I can see you doing that. I can see.
Yeah.
I think that might be fun too. But Michael?
Yeah, I was just going to bring up if acting hadn't kind of grabbed you too, what would you have been satisfied with staying with? Totally music, just filmmaking maybe, or what do you think it would have happened? Now it seems like you're going to do it all, but if it hadn't happened that way, what would you have tried to focus on to really go for?
Probably would be filmmaking. That's like the thing that I've been like really trying to like build my career to be in. So it'd probably be filmmaking and specifically like writing and directing.
Would you want to write, direct, produce a vertical?
Maybe, I don't know. That might be in the cards. We'll just have to see.
Have to see what happens.
Yeah.
I'll go back to Liz. I have a feeling she's got something that she wants to say.
Well, no, just kind of a tie-in with one thing I had started earlier, and you each one touched on a little bit. Like I had already said before, you are the co-founder, and it's an award-winning film company, which is really outstanding. Considering you're fairly young in this whole business, and it's Gregory Arts and Media, I believe is the name of it. Yeah. How exactly did all that come about? I know you had all these interests, which you'd kind of touched on before, but did you just decide to all conglomerate it under one particular heading to do, or?
Yeah, so I previously had like a production company I started when I was in high school called Sun Cow Productions. And that was my one I did over there. And we actually did produce, I think like eight films throughout there. And then when I got to college, it was just because it's such a new team, because it was so different from my high school team, that I was like, I don't think I should bring the other one into here. And then we were doing actually the 48 Hour Film Festival. Right. And the story of the name is really silly. Is so I was like, hey, we need to have like a name for our team. And I was like, anybody have any suggestions? I sent this out to the team. You're doing the 48 Hour vertical the 48 Hour Film Festival. And the guy who he's the co-owner of it, my friend Sage, he's the only one who texted, and as a joke, he was like, Gregory. No one else responded. So I was like, okay, cool. We're gonna be called Gregory. And then out of that was like about like 3.5 years ago now. And then out of that, we ended up just then taking on more projects, building up more things. And now it's turned into Gregory Arts and Media. And now we're very much like, we've scaled back a bit, and we're really into like the maturation stage of like really building this out to what we want it to be, and excited for what's to come, especially in like 2026.
Okay. I kind of laugh, especially with you explaining it that way. It brought back to mind a very young John Kennedy Jr., and he did a magazine, and it was under the same kind of heading. It was just one word, and it was George. And that, kind of what set, that part apart. So when you were explaining it, that's kind of how I was kind of picturing it. It was like, okay, Gregory, is it just one word? And then you expanded on it, which was actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything in your memory that you could think of that would be your favorite memory from doing something on set, or something you wished, I really like that, I wouldn't mind disappearing and coming home with me?
So for my favorite memory, it was actually probably the overnight that we had for Don't Miss Me When I'm Gone. That was so fun. I mean, we just had a blast. Like me, Vera, and Luke were all we had like there was about like a couple hours where we had a break, and it was also like it was right before we got to the middle point of our shoot schedule. So it's like, like the first couple of days you're meeting each other, the ice is breaking, and it was right there. And because it's an overnight shoot and we're all like on, little sleep. And so walls are coming down. So it's just like that moment where it was like, walls came down and we like started like really, really bonding as a group. And it was really fun. I mean, I'm still like Kayla, Vera, Luke, and even like Brian, our makeup artists, were all like still like super, super close, which is I found it's like can be like pretty unique for production like that.
Okay. That would be kind of a cool memory to have and carry forward. Within the film industry, now that you're doing verticals, a lot of verticals are actually starting to film in all other parts of the world. Where would be your choice to go film if you could choose any place to go film?
Probably, I would probably want to go to Spain. I've never left the country. So I think that's a place where I'd really want to go, because I love I want to go explore Europe. I want to go explore too. I just like how they like also like how their way of life is, and how they like take a lot of time to like pause, and there's like the siesta and all that. And I just want to like experience being in Spain for a little bit.
The food's not bad either. So.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of your writing and verticals and stuff, have you ever thought of writing one that was more bilingual to like Spanish, speaking people, and just having it that instead of, like how the verticals originally started in China, and it was all the Chinese language, and of course then we got them westernized. Well, now I'm thinking there's so many other cultures within there, to be able maybe to do it something along those lines.
Yeah, I think I think that there's two, because in America we have our soap operas, which they share similarities to, but actually they're so much more similar to like telenovelas. And so I do think that there's this like really, really untapped and interesting play of going into the like having Spanish be a very, very strong proponent into this industry and have it start going in there. And I'd love to be a part of it. Yeah.
I think that'd be really something cool to do. I know we're getting close here to starting to wrap things up. So if I don't get a chance to tell you this again, thank you so much for taking your time to be on with us. And it was quite fun to hear everything. And I look forward to seeing, and I wouldn't even mind seeing you with Luke in another vertical. So that'd be cool.
No, I mean, this has been a blast. Thank you guys so much for thinking of me and having me on here.
Oh, no, it's been wonderful. So, Michael, did you want it, or you want me to hand it to Marcia?
Hand it to Marcia just so she has a closing question.
Yes, I have one more thing I have to ask you about. One of your productions for your company, Gregory Arts, was, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but you'll tell me. It's Paul. Is it pause? Because there's a U, a capital U.
Pause. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the earlier productions we made. That one came out of we had met somebody who was with the 48-hour film festival, and he called us. Like, a lot of the films so far right now from Gregory have been like very much like run and gun, like we're just gonna make a movie right now. And then now we're like scaling towards like very long scaling projects. But that one came out. We had a friend named Ben who was actually the star of the movie, and Sage called me. He's like, "Man, I just want to make a movie with Ben in it. Like, I just want him to be in something. He's such a good actor." And so then we called Ben on like Wednesday, and we were like, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to make a movie? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then I like went home and immediately just like opened my computer and started writing pause. I liked it. I thought it was a really, really cool concept that we were able to make a little short.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun, and I wanted to see more. Actually, I wanted to see where it went next. But so thank you. I joined Liz, and thank you so much for spending with us and letting us hear more about you. And looking forward to your future.
Yes, thank you.
Grant, I hope you had a great time, and we had a great time. I'll tell you that. But
I had a wonderful time.
I mean, when you've got new projects coming out, or you just like to chit chat about something, you're welcome to come back. Just let us know, and we'd love to have you.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah, all right. There you go. And for all our fans out there, we didn't have much in the chat room today, but there were people coming in and out. So yeah, they were watching, but they didn't say anything. That happens a lot. But those that are watching it later, try to join us when we have our guests on live, and then you can ask them some questions live. So everyone, thank you for coming. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.